Have you ever made a decision and later wondered, why did I do that? Maybe you bought something you didn't need. Maybe you judged someone too quickly. Or maybe you trusted a feeling that later turned out to be wrong. The truth is, our brains make thousands of decisions every single day. Some are fast. Some are slow. Some are logical. And some are completely irrational. That's exactly what the book Thinking, Fast and Slow explores. It explains how our minds actually work. And more importantly, why we sometimes make surprisingly bad decisions. Now the author, Daniel Kahneman, spent decades studying how humans think. And what he discovered is something fascinating. Our brain actually operates using two different systems. Two very different ways of thinking. He calls them System 1 and System 2. Now don't worry. This is not complicated. In fact, once you understand it, you start noticing it everywhere in your life. System 1, the fast brain. System 1 is the brain that works instantly. No effort. No deep thinking. Just automatic reactions. For example, if I ask you, what is 2 plus 2? Your brain immediately says 4. You didn't calculate it. You didn't pause. The answer just appeared. That's System 1. It's fast, effortless, and it works constantly. Another example. Imagine you are walking down a street at night. Suddenly you hear a loud noise behind you. Your heart jumps. You turn quickly. Your body reacts before you even think. That's System 1 protecting you. And honestly, without it, humans wouldn't survive. Because this system helps us react quickly to danger. But here's the problem. System 1 is also lazy. It loves shortcuts. It guesses. It jumps to conclusions. And sometimes, those conclusions are wrong. For example, you meet someone who speaks confidently, dresses well, looks successful. Your brain quickly decides, this person must be very intelligent. But think about it. Did you actually test their intelligence? No. Your brain simply used a shortcut. And that shortcut came from System 1. This happens all the time. We judge people quickly. We trust first impressions. We make assumptions. Sometimes they're right. But sometimes, they're very wrong. And the book explains that many mistakes in life happen because we rely too much on fast thinking. Imagine you walk into a supermarket. You only plan to buy milk. Just milk. But suddenly you see a sign that says, limited time offer, buy 2 get 1 free. Your brain immediately thinks, wow, that's a good deal. So you buy 3 items. But later you realize something funny. You didn't actually need them. Your brain reacted to the word deal. That was System 1 making a quick decision. Not System 2 carefully thinking about whether you needed the product. And marketers know this. That's why stores are designed to trigger fast decisions. Understanding this simple idea can change how you see your own behavior. Because once you realize how often fast thinking controls your actions, you start slowing down. You start asking better questions. You become more aware of your own biases. And that awareness is powerful. Because sometimes, the smartest decision is simply pausing before reacting. That's where the second system comes in. The slow, careful thinker. The part of your brain that analyzes problems, checks facts, and questions assumptions. But here's the interesting part. Your brain doesn't like using it. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Now let's talk about the second system of thinking introduced in Thinking, Fast and Slow. If System 1 is the fast brain, System 2 is the slow brain. This is the part of your mind that activates when something requires effort. Real effort. The kind that makes you pause, focus, and actually think. For example, if I ask you, what is 27 times 14? You probably don't know the answer instantly. You stop. You think. Maybe you even start calculating in your head. That's system 2 at work. It's slower, but it's also more accurate. The problem is, system 2 is lazy. Here's something interesting the book explains. Our brain actually prefers not to think too hard. Deep thinking consumes energy. So whenever possible, the brain lets system 1 handle things automatically. That's why we rely so much on quick judgments. It saves effort. But this shortcut also leads to mistakes. Lots of them. Imagine you see a headline online that says, "Eating chocolate makes you live longer." System 1 reacts immediately. Wow, that's amazing. You feel excited. Maybe even relieved. But System 2 would ask a different question. Wait, where did this study come from? How many people were tested? Is the information reliable? System 2 investigates. System 1 reacts. And the problem is, most people stop at the reaction. They rarely go deeper. That's why misinformation spreads so quickly. Because our fast brain loves simple, exciting answers. Even when they're wrong. Let's say you meet someone for the first time. They look confident. They speak clearly. They seem friendly. Your brain quickly decides, I like this person. But later you might discover something surprising. Maybe they were hiding their real personality. Maybe they were just good at first impressions. This happens because System 1 creates stories quickly. And once the story is created, our brain resists changing it. Even when new evidence appears. The book explains something fascinating. Humans don't just like facts. We like simple stories. Stories that make the world feel predictable. For example, if a successful entrepreneur becomes famous, people immediately create a story. They succeeded because they were brilliant. But reality is often more complicated. Maybe they were smart. But maybe they were also lucky. Maybe they were in the right place at the right time. But our brain prefers a clean explanation. System 1 loves stories that feel neat and satisfying. Even if they ignore important details. Think about when someone is late. Your brain might instantly think, they don't respect my time. But what if the real reason was traffic? Or an emergency? Or something completely unexpected? Our fast brain often jumps to conclusions about people's intentions. And that's where many misunderstandings begin. Why this idea is so powerful is because once you understand the difference between fast thinking and slow thinking, you begin to notice it everywhere. You start catching yourself. Before reacting. Before judging. Before making quick decisions. You pause. You let System 2 step in. And that small pause can make a huge difference. Because many mistakes in life happen not because we are stupid, but because our brain is simply trying to save energy. And in the next part, the book reveals something even more surprising. Sometimes we are confident about things that are completely wrong. And we don't even realize it. That's where cognitive biases come in. And they influence almost every decision we make. By now we understand something important. Our brain has two systems. One is fast. One is slow. But the book reveals something even more surprising. Even when we think we are being logical, our mind is often quietly making mistakes. These mistakes are called cognitive biases. And the strange part is, almost everyone has them. Even experts. Even highly intelligent people. One of the most famous biases is the anchoring effect. This happens when the first number we hear influences our judgment, even if that number is completely random. Imagine you walk into a shop to buy shoes. You see a sign that says, "Was $200, now $90. Immediately your brain thinks, "Wow, that's a huge discount." But think about it. Was the shoe ever really worth $200? Maybe not. But because that number appeared first, your brain uses it as a reference point. That first number anchors your perception, and suddenly $90 feels cheap. Stores use this trick all the time. Not because they are evil, but because they understand how the brain works. Another bias is the availability effect. This one is very relatable. It happens when we judge something based on what comes to mind quickly. For example, after hearing news about a plane crash, many people suddenly feel afraid of flying. But statistically, flying is still much safer than driving. The reason we feel afraid is simple. The plane crash story is fresh in our mind. It feels more common than it actually is. Our brain confuses what is memorable with what is likely. And this happens everywhere. News, social media, even daily conversations. The more we hear something, the more true it feels, even when it isn't. Another common thinking trap. Our brain loves being right. So when we believe something, we naturally start looking for information that confirms our belief. And we ignore information that challenges it. For example, imagine someone believes that successful people are always confident and outgoing. So whenever they see a confident leader succeed, they say, "See? I was right." But when a quiet or introverted person succeeds, their brain ignores it. This is called confirmation bias. We collect evidence that supports our beliefs and ignore evidence that contradicts them. And the scary part is, we usually don't even realize we're doing it. Think about when you buy something new. Maybe a phone. Before buying it, you read reviews, watch videos, compare features. You are careful. That's system 2 thinking. But once you buy it, something interesting happens. You suddenly start noticing only the good things about the phone. You tell yourself, "I made a great choice." Even if small problems appear, your brain wants to protect your decision, because admitting a mistake feels uncomfortable. So it quietly filters information. And that's another example of how our mind shapes reality. These biases influence almost every decision we make. How we judge people, how we spend money, how we interpret news, how we vote, how we form opinions. And the book doesn't say we can completely eliminate these biases. That would be impossible. But awareness helps. When you understand that your brain sometimes takes shortcuts, you become more careful. You pause before jumping to conclusions. You ask better questions. And slowly, your decisions become wiser. And in the final part of this review, we'll talk about one of the most fascinating ideas from the book. Why humans are terrible at predicting the future, even experts. And what this means for our choices about career, money, and happiness. As we reach the final part of this review of Thinking, Fast and Slow, the book leaves us with one surprising realization. Human beings are not as rational as we think. We like to believe that we carefully analyze every decision. But most of the time, our brain is simply making quick guesses. Sometimes those guesses are helpful. But other times, they quietly lead us in the wrong direction. One of the most fascinating ideas in the book is something called the planning fallacy. This happens when we underestimate how long things will take. For example, you might say, "I'll finish this project in 2 days." But then it takes a week. Or you tell yourself, "I'll read this book tonight." But somehow 3 days pass before you even open it. It's not laziness. It's how our brain works. We imagine the best possible scenario. And we forget to consider delays, distractions, and unexpected problems. Even professionals do this. Construction projects, government plans, business deadlines. They often take much longer than expected. Because humans are naturally overly optimistic about the future. The book also explains something called the remembering self and the experiencing self. This sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple. The experiencing self lives in the present moment. It feels what is happening right now. But the remembering self is the one that tells the story later. And interestingly, the remembering self often changes the story. For example, imagine going on a 2-week vacation. Most of the trip is wonderful. But the last day is stressful. Maybe the flight is delayed. Maybe something goes wrong. When people remember the trip later, that stressful ending might dominate the memory. Even though most of the vacation was amazing. Our brain remembers peaks and endings more strongly than the full experience. And this influences many of our life decisions. Think about the last time you judged a situation quickly. Maybe someone said something and you immediately assumed their intention. Or maybe you made a purchase because it felt like a good deal. Or maybe you believed a headline without checking the facts. These small moments happen every day. And they show exactly what the book is trying to teach. Our brain is powerful. But it also takes shortcuts. And those shortcuts can shape our decisions in ways we don't even notice. Here are some of the biggest lessons from thinking, fast and slow. Our brain operates using 2 systems of thinking, fast and slow. Fast thinking helps us react quickly but often leads to errors and assumptions. Slow thinking is more accurate but requires effort and attention. Cognitive biases influence many decisions without us realizing it. Humans often rely on mental shortcuts when judging situations. We are naturally overconfident in our predictions about the future. Becoming aware of these patterns helps us make better decisions. And perhaps the most powerful lesson of all is this. Understanding how your mind works can help you avoid many hidden mistakes. And that brings us to the end of this review of Thinking, Fast and Slow. This book doesn't just teach psychology. It changes how you look at your own thoughts, your decisions, your judgments about people, and even your everyday habits. But while this review introduces the key ideas, the real value comes from reading the book yourself. Because the insights inside it can genuinely change how you understand the world. So if this video helped you discover something new, like the video, comment below and share your thoughts. Share this video with someone who enjoys learning about the mind. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more reviews of powerful books that can transform how we think and live. Because sometimes, one book can change the way you see everything.